This is AdamantlyAnalog, episode 92. This week, we're following up on Protospiel, Wisconsin, and getting ready for Gencon 2026. Well, don't call it a comeback. We've been here for years, except for just like not the last 6 months or so, right?
That's a weird intro.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with it though. I'm Corey.
Hey, and I'm Harrison.
We're coming back to it's been a little while. We haven't done an Adamantly Analog board game podcast in a while. However, we just saw each other this past weekend at Protospiel, Wisconsin, the first ever. Harrison did a fantastic job putting it together. Kudos, Harrison.
Oh, you just wanted to record a podcast so you could compliment me in public, didn't you?
And it's also Gen Con week. I mean, there's a lot happening in the board game world. The world is generally just a different place since we last recorded. We've got Jimothy now.
we do. I just learned about Jimothy 2 days ago, and I have not gotten an ounce of sleep since.
If you don't know what we're talking about, you have to Google this right now.
Jimothy is, everyone apparently says Jimothy is adorable. I think he is nightmare fuel. Please do not send me pictures of Jimothy.
Oh my god. I was just like mindlessly scrolling Instagram the other day and I came across this woman playing banjo and she had like made a Jimothy puppet that attached to her elbow. So when she strummed the banjo, he danced. And I just like started cracking up. I didn't know what Jimothy was. And I scrolled to the next post and there was the real life Jimothy on tape. And I understood then. And so I've just been doing Jimothy memes for the last 3 days.
Yeah, Jimothy's on Roku now. Yeah, the little, like, screensaver that Roku puts up when you let your
Is he
TV
really?
sit too long, there's a Jimothy in it, yeah.
Oh, I got a
Uh
Roku. I gotta watch that.
yeah, Jimothy is a raccoon in the Seattle area, who was born with a, uh, uh, malformity,
Mhm.
that makes him look very distinct, and look like a Jimothy, so we'll leave it at that.
He just looks like a head with arms and legs. That's what he looks like. Yeah, so Timothy's awesome, but we're talking about board games, and I am so excited to go to Gen Con, Harrison, but we're gonna contain ourselves. I know you were like, "Okay, let's do a whole different episode about Gen Con one day," but how can we not address it? It's coming up. I'm gonna go on Wednesday.
And here, I was real selfish on it, and I was like, "I don't need to talk about Gen Con on a podcast," because I just recorded as a guest on, Board Game Radio with Michael and Doug, and we talked about our most anticipated Gen Con game. So I already got my board
Oh, you
game
got your
podcasting
fix.
out. I got the
Oh,
fix. So
so yeah,
yeah.
you have none left for our audience, is that what you're saying?
Yep, I did all of my picks over there, sorry.
Well, we'll talk a little bit about Gen Con, all right? We got to. I can't not. But we put this together, this idea of recording again because we had just had a really great time at Protospiel, and I'm eager to share about that. But I think we need to say like what Protospiel is because I don't think everyone's aware of this. It's a thing not only for the board game designers but also for board game playtesters. So you want to elaborate on that, Harrison?
Yeah, I think I can remember what it is.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, so like Corey said, it's like a board gaming convention sort of for board game designers and playtesters. It is a shared label that I think started somewhere many years ago on the East Coast and has since spread and migrated across the country. There's many different Protospiel versions. There's a Madison one, there's two Minneapolis ones, there's a Chicago and an Indianapolis, and I think we have one coming up in Louisiana soon. I'm probably misspoken, but yeah, there's lots of them, and the gist is a bunch of people get together in a room for a weekend and they play games all weekend, and none of them are published, and all of them are horribly broken or busted and need lots of work. So designers come together, they test each other's games. That usually involves buying a badge so that you are labeled as one of the designers, but attendees can purchase a just a playtester badge, which is significantly cheaper to just come and play a bunch of busted games. So for my Protospiel, Wisconsin, in good old Madison, Wisconsin, we had about 50-50 badge sales. So it was about half playtesters and half designers, and that felt pretty like a pretty good split. I think Protospiel Madison, which has about 200 attendees in November, usually feels like it's more of like a 75-25 split in favor of designers or more.
Mhm.
But we had a 50-50 here with about 65, 70 total attendees.
I know we made these show notes to like keep ourselves organized, but I feel like we're doing this now. I think we should talk Protospiel first, if that's cool.
Yeah, we're just playing it off the cuff, right? We're just
Yeah,
we're just coming back from hiatus. This is our new podcast, Adamantly Jimothy, a board game podcast.
this is Adamantly Analog 2, the board gaming.
Yeah, we'll have to workshop that in post.
Yeah. But yeah, man, that whole weekend was amazing, and I this is my first Protospiel attending because we didn't end up going to Minneapolis. We had talked about that back in January. We ended up playing at the Thunderworks laboratory, and that
Yes.
was really cool too. We had a little mini Protospiel going on, but this was the first like fully fledged. Like we had, I wasn't expecting to have so much interest in trying my games because as a when you're designing games, it's kind of hard to get people to play test something that they know is only like half finished sometimes, especially when there's
Yeah.
all sorts of really good games like five or so feet from me and they're like, oh, but there's a new one. And so this I would like set up a game and I turn around, there'd be people ready to play it. So I got tons of testing. I brought 4 games that weekend. Um, all sorts of great feedback. Everyone's like eager to share ideas, and I think as a play tester, I got the feeling that everyone felt kind of engaged with it in a totally different way because they could have those ideas and share them and like have some feeling of like being able to influence this like final design. They were like part of the process. And I got to feel that too, playtesting other people's games. But man, I left it and I was like, I just want to like spend the next 3 days processing this information and putting it into play and these ideas and trying it and like continuing to refine. And I did that. So I've been doing all week.
What would you say is like the biggest thing that you learned at Protospiel?
Oh, that's a good question. The biggest thing I learned, I'm reminded how people have different opinions on games, and it's so apparent when you talk about like think about your favorite game to play and how maybe your spouse is like, "Oh, I absolutely detest that game." You know what I mean? Everyone's got
Right.
different preferences and there's so many games for different people. So I would play the same game with like 4 crowds in a row and I would get completely different takes on it. And no one was like particularly negative. Everyone was very supportive. They had ideas to share, but the things that they took issue with were like the things that other people were like, "That's my favorite part of the game." So if you were completely responsive to all the feedback immediately, you would be spinning in circles with those designs. You'd be constantly reinventing the wheel every time you play the game. So you just end up making a giant list of stuff and you kind of think on it, you go to sleep, you wake up the next day and maybe it's clearer to you, maybe not, but just like my brain was swirling.
That's board game design, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got one I'm particularly encouraged by after Protospiel that I've been really focusing my efforts on. I won't say too much about what it is, but I've been really pushing it because I'm going to Gen Con. I'm like, okay, this is an opportunity to, see some publishers and stuff. So um, I was really excited to have played that with people and, gotten some positive feedback on it. And that's the best part about this is just being encouraged by that, I think. It's just like knowing you're on the right path.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, it can be, you test with you and Nikki and your, like, close group of friends, and you get so much feedback and you think you got a good thing going, and then you bring it in front of complete strangers, and that can totally shake your world, both in
Yeah.
a good way and bad way, right? I
Mm.
mean, there was your slot machine casino game that you brought in front of me, and we played it with, my friend Pete, and the next day he was still talking about it. He's like, "Man, I wanna play that game again." And,
Oh,
from the
nice.
feedback, I wasn't super hot on it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's a perfect example of just like, yeah, the varied tastes that you get just from having those outside perspectives of from people you don't talk to very often.
Yeah, man. And you can get different kind of play testing done with different groups. And I know that seems obvious, but what I'm saying by that is like there's a very casual approach to some games where people are not like super invested in winning or like pushing it to the max. And that game experience is completely different than when you go like sweaty try hard mode, which is which is what I did yesterday with my friend Max. We put this game on and we're like, we're gonna maximize points. We're gonna do the math. We're gonna get into like deep theories about like how to break this thing. And we like really, really pushed it to the limit. And it stood the test. It was great.
Oh,
I
cool.
was really happy with that. Yeah. And I like justified it with a bunch of math today. I just spent hours like doing calculations and probabilities and stuff. And It's not something I thought I would ever care about, but here I am, like, doing complex algebra equations that I haven't used since high school.
It is useful.
Board game design, but not in my job. How about
Yep.
you, Harrison? What were your takeaways from it?
So like I have a little bit of a different perspective on it, right? Because I've gone to glancing at my, you know, I used to have this habit of saving every single badge for a convention and by tacking it up to a cork board, and that stopped a long time ago because they're
Yeah,
falling off. Like I've
yeah.
just got like 30 to 40 badges up there from various shows. So Protospiels, I think I've been to like 15 or 16 or something like that, quite a few,
Mhm.
and hosting one was a much different perspective on it. But the thing that I like the most about them is it just reminds me of the collaborative nature of all of these things, right? You play a board game to interact and socialize with people, gather around a table and share that experience together. uh, and even if there's, one designer name on the box and or one artist name on the box, it's the same thing for making it. These are collaborative projects. It is not just the designer. It is the artists. It's all the play testers. It's
Yeah.
the producer. It's the developer. It's the publisher and all their employees. It's the manufacturer. Like there's so much like labor and love that goes into some of these things. And Protospiel, you kind of get like just a glimpse of the back end of that, like the design process, because you're usually interacting with directly with the designer or the developer, and getting to see that process and form the game there too. So I've always really enjoyed that part of it.
Yeah, and
Um,
you said the labor and love that goes into it, and that's something that can't be understated because board game design is hard. And even if you're making what's known as a light game, it just takes so much time and energy and tweaking that when you're playing something for the first time, you have to remember like someone's invested a lot of time and energy into this, and they care deeply about this. This is like kind of a personal expression in some ways, so it's easy to be very critical over the rules and things, but I always try to start with like, here's the things I loved about it first, because they need to know if you liked it, right? And it's
mhm,
not always
mhm.
obvious from the feedback. You can like something and have criticisms for it, but if you don't tell them, they might not know it.
Yeah, I like, there were a good number of playtesters and designers who'd never gone to a Protospiel who came to this one first. And so when they came in the door and I asked them, "Hey, have you been to a Protospiel before?" And they said no. One of the first things I told them after I told them like where the snacks and coffee were, was that like when you're giving feedback, uh, always say something that you liked and always say something that you didn't like,
Yeah.
that way have something for the designers to latch onto that they can strengthen, and have something that they can shore up if they need to. Another format is the compliment sandwich, right? Start and end with a compliment, and then fill it with all the garbage you can think of. But that just helps people like accept the feedback a little more easily.
Well, and it encourages them to go on, because if you're only negative about it, like there's some times where I leave a playtesting session, I'm feeling like, wow, I guess I'm feeling unmotivated to do more with this game because of that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I guess you're saying the same thing, but in a different way.
Yeah.
um, we get very academic about the feedback sometimes, and I think the most important thing is the feel, right? Because you're not going to please everybody with the design in any way. I've never played a game that's been perfect in my estimation, but did I enjoy it? Did I have fun? Like that's what matters, right? That's what I want to know. Did you
Mhm.
smile?
Right, right. Now, if we want to talk about specific games there, did you play, I think you played Wrapped, right?
No, I don't think
You
so.
didn't. You didn't get a chance to. Okay.
No.
Because people listen to the podcast for games, and so far we've just been
Yeah, let's talk
saying
about games.
how great Proto-Spiel is, but like let's talk about a couple of these games we saw. So there and yeah, okay. I'm just stumbling over my words now.
It's been a
Haven't
while. A little
podcasted in a
rusty.
while, huh? Get the oil can.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, my friend Ethan has working on this game called Wrapped, that is inspired by like kids trick or treating, and It's kind of got like a light and cozy Halloween theme to it, and he has been
Mhm.
working on this thing for months and months. It's like the
Mhm.
first thing that he brought to Monday playtesting when I first met him. He just like found out about our event and showed up, and me and Pete and him have been playtesting it for quite a while, and it's gone through many iterations. Um, but the showing that he brought to Protospiel is like it's a little bit of when it was a uh, cooperative like tile based game. There's a little bit of DNA from when it was a card shedding set collection game. There's a little bit of DNA of when it was a trick taking game. Like all these different little pieces coming together to form this game that there were publishers at Protospiel, and publishers were like, "This is cool. Let's talk." Um,
Nice.
so like this is a game that might be hitting your shelves maybe at some point in the future. We don't, I don't know who's even looking at it if they're still looking at it, but that's the kind of like buzz you can get generated too from the player side. There were players who wanted to play it again. That's like a huge awesome moment too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in a little bit of the gameplay. This is still like a set collection thing where you're collecting these little candy cube pieces, except you're a kid and you've got your block of the neighborhood represented by three houses in front of you, uh, and then each player also has that. And each round, you put a piece of candy on each of those, drawn randomly from a bag, and they each have different values, and you're trying to collect them to fill in different like recipe cards. But you've got a deck of trick or treat cards that range. I think the values were from like uh, 1 to 6 of varying values. You had the most ones, then twos, then threes, all the way up to like 1, 6, or 7 or something. Um, and you take turns bidding on one of the pieces of candy. If you bid on your own, you place your card face down because it's your familiar territory. You know where to go. But if you bid on someone else's, you play it face up. And in a three-player game, only one other player can bid against you on your own candy. So like there's this interesting push and pull of like trying to bid on the first on like the high value ones, but also like, ooh, which of those ones do I go against? Then you've got a bluffing element with your face down cards versus your opponents. Um, it just had a really cool energy about it. Played pretty snappy. So I thought it was really cool. I actually only played it 2 players, but I watched people play it 3 and 4.
Mhm.
I'm really excited to see what he does with it next.
I have played that back when he was bringing it to your playtesting sessions. I didn't realize it was called Wrapped. So a much earlier version of it. But I have to say, and I think Ethan listens to this podcast sometimes. My friend John came with me to this and he played it and he was telling me all weekend, he's like, that was my favorite game I played over the weekend. And he played
Heck
quite a few.
yeah,
So that's good
yeah,
praise. Um, yeah, man, this is like really cool ideas. You leave someone's game thinking, man, that is clever. That's a good idea, and if nothing else, it gives you it's just like motivating to do more with your own designs and try different things. There were play
yeah,
testers
absolutely.
there that grabbed some of your cards and they were like designing games because they were inspired to do so by just being around this.
Yep. Yeah,
So,
there were a couple people that did that. And in fact, one of them came to play testing it at I'm Bored today,
oh,
which
nice,
was super cool. Yeah. So
cool,
it was yeah, we're turning people into designers all the time, or
yeah.
or
So
helping people get those juices flowing.
this is we should probably move on to the next topic, but this is a good I guess all that to say, if you have never been to a Protospiel, even if you're not a designer, check it out. It's totally awesome and very unlike typical board game convention experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, but Harrison, since it's been so long since we've seen each other in this formally documented type of conversation, we should talk on record about one game we played since we last talked. I don't know what we settled on. I don't think we're talking about our favorite game that we played since we last talked, but a game that you played in the last 7 months.
Right, yeah. You asked me to pick a game from, like, that I've played this year to talk about, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Corey, why are you doing this to me? This is rude. I quit the podcast." Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, we're here to talk about our love of games, we're adamantly about that, analog medium. So, what do you wanna shout out? What do you wanna talk about?
Oh, me first? No, I asked
Yeah, go
you.
for
Go
it.
ahead.
Oh, geez, okay. This is why we had the first player rule, otherwise we descend into chaos.
Yeah, the first player rule is I'm lead, so I pick you. Go.
Okay. So the past couple of months, I've been really into, like, really, really into trick-taking games. Um, Kane, another regular at our game night, and I have just been, like, bringing every single trick-taking game and playing
Mm,
them at game night that we can, and I think we've played, like, 20 or so or something in the past couple months.
mm,
Um, but one that we found, is called Torchlit, and so this is originally self-published by a designer named David Spolinski, and then it's being, published now by Allplay, and I think the Gen Con is gonna be, like, the first time it'll be at a convention.
mm.
It's like fairly new. People are definitely buzzing about it, and it's got a lot of thumbs on the old, BGG list for Gen Con previews. Um, so this is a trick-taking game themed around dungeon delving and fighting monsters. There are 7 suits in the game, each numbered 1 through 7, and you line up a row of door tiles, basically numbered 0 through 8, and you deal out, I think, most of the deck, or if not the whole deck, and then you play trick-taking with that. And whenever someone wins a trick, they move forward in the dungeon. But if you played the same rank card as the winning card, you also move forward in the dungeon. And then you take some of those cards and you, like, stack them underneath the tile, like matching their rank. And so over the course of the round, you have, like, cards piling up underneath of each of these doors, and wherever your character ends, whichever door you end at, that's the loot that you get. Each of those cards there represents the loot.
Oh, nice.
Um,
Okay.
but if you end up on the same tile as someone else, you have to share it. Uh, and so there's this, like, nice, like, kind of push and pull and bluffing element. It's kind of like predicting or bidding for the number of tricks you think you're going to win, but abstracted a couple levels, to feel like not as high stakes. You have a lot more control over it over the course of the game. Um, you do this by, like, taking one of the cards in your hand at the beginning of a round and placing it face down in front of you, and that's your bid. Whatever number that is, that's the number door you want to end up on. But before you play your very last card in the hand, you can swap that with your face down card. So you can kind of, like, do a last ditch effort to try to land on the right door. Corey, this game, it has such a good feel to it, and so many fun, like, tense moments as players are approaching the end of the round, and you're trying to figure out who's going for what number. Eh, the card counting in it, feels really, really natural because you're drawn to specific ranks and suits as you're trying to get things onto a certain doorway. It's it's excellent. It is a ton of fun.
Hmm.
Probably one of my top 10, if not my top game of the year.
Oh, that's awesome. I've been seeing it come up in the Gen Con events list, and I looked at it on BGA because I thought, or BGG, because I thought I remembered you saying something about it, and it showed 2021 or something. So I was like, oh, that's an old game. What's that doing here? But I understand now. It's okay. It's being reprinted by all play with all new art, and it's like this
Oh yeah.
grim dark kind of vibe. Yeah, it looks good. I've now added it to my event list, so I'll be playing it on Thursday.
Yeah, the artist is Harry Conway. He's the same one that did art for um, the Iliad game
Oh yeah,
from Bitewing, a bunch of other stuff too. He's done Veiled Fate and Scales of Fate. Uh, just looking at a couple of his credits right now, but yeah, very, like, striking illustrative style, very nice looking. The figures, the characters, the meeples in the game have screen printing with metallic silver printing on it as well, so they have, like, a little shine to them.
mm,
It's really cool production.
that's awesome. Yeah, looks fun. I like the concept. There's been a lot of innovation in trick takers lately. I saw tons of trick takers at the Protospiel, in fact, but even then, there's more and more of them coming out,
Oh
published
yeah.
games than
hmm
ever before. Thank you, the crew, right? Like that just like exploded this concept.
Well, that, and, that kind of popularized it in the mainstream, but I think it's been a really, uh, a really big like design space for a while. If you look at like the trick taking scene in Japan and Korea, there's like a ton of these just small box like trick taking games that are coming
Mm.
out from designers in Japan and Korea that are just completely off the walls new ideas, but some of them are just brilliant. I think Vivo was one of those originally. That was my favorite from last year, and I would have to fact check myself. Yeah, yeah, designer Leo. Um, so that's like one of them, and that was my number one game of the year last year. Uh, so yeah, I'm super happy to see more stuff come from that space.
Have you played Trick Takers? That's the name of the game. Trick Takers, all caps,
Uh, One word or two?
one word. It's, Hirokin is the designer, and I've never played Trick Takers, but it looks cool. The reason I ask is because I'm very excited to play Eternal Decks, which is coming to America later this summer. And this designer has just a whole bunch of interesting takes on, like, really old, simple, classic card formulas.
Oh yeah, no, I haven't seen this one.
This looks cool. It looks like it's some asymmetrical kind of characters and things. It's something about a tournament. They're trying to settle a tournament. After being dealt a hand of cards, the players choose from various characters that change how they participate in the game. I love that stuff.
Oh,
Um,
only $75 on Noble Knight. Okay. Well, I have like
well,
$100 in credit there, so I guess I could get it.
yeah. So it is Portland Games Collective will have these, but it's pretty much the only place you can get these games because they're imported and they're the one that's bringing over to America. I don't think they're like readily available yet. So
Oh, gotcha. So I should
yeah,
have
it's one of them.
patience.
Or you could just pre-order on their website because, yeah, you can get it for what, $25 there.
Plus $50 shipping.
No, Portland.
All right. What about you, Corey? What's a game you've been playing and enjoying?
All right, well, I'm gonna kinda cheat because I wanted to talk about Take Time, but it's been long enough since I played Take Time to remember specifically how that game went. I'll just say it's cool, and then we'll cover that again in the future. But First Giants, I've been playing a lot of First Giants. That's kind of a big recent release lately, and I think First Giants kinda hit that formula where it's like a a meaty-ish game that's easy to teach, easy to understand, quick to play. So it's fun, it's engaging, but it's also like a nice, board game arena kinda game or like a really really good filler game. Um, First of all, have you played First Giants, Harrison?
I have not, but in my list of things that I was reviewing for Gen Con as potential buys or tries, I did
Yeah.
look at it.
Yeah, so it's Matthew Dunstan, who's the guy that made the Next Station games and the Guild of Merchant Explorers,
Oh
all
yeah.
good stuff.
He's
Monumental, I hear is good
he's
too,
got
never
a
played that.
he's got a YouTube channel where he talks about his design process. It is wonderful. You should go watch it.
Cool. And then so this is actually a remake of Elysium. And Elysium's a 2015 game that I see on Facebook Marketplace like every day. I don't know why people are always selling this game. And that one has like this kind of ancient Greco-Roman kind of vibe to it. The art looks like Vincent Dutray. I don't think it is, but it's kind of got that like high fantasy sort of thing. Artist John McCambridge. But yeah, First Giants is like taking that whole game formula and changing the theme to be about dinosaurs in a museum. So thematically, you're like finding dinosaur bones, or you're researching dinosaurs and you're putting their bones on display in your museum. But it's really just a pretty simple drafting formula. You play to one of four different locations that each holds two face-up cards, and when you do, you get to pick one of those cards. And you can play only once to each of those locations. And when you're out of pieces, you have to recall. You get a little bit of a bonus for recalling, but it's kind of like one of those things where I could push it and I could get all four pieces out and get the biggest bonus for recalling, or I could be kind of tactical and I could pull them back sooner and then have my choices of any of the cards on the table. So I don't know if you followed that. The point is, it's just kind of it's a very subtle vibe change for drafting. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to get sets of ones, twos, and threes sequentially, or get all the threes, one of each different color. And when you do, there's this kind of like tug of war. It's kind of like having the longest road in Catan, where as soon as you've satisfied the requirement, you hold the bonus points piece until someone else overtakes it from you. Um, The dinosaurs have abilities on their front side. Once they're displayed, they lose those abilities. So lots of little levers to pull in here. And once again, simple game, um, and thematically pretty cool and unique. Mechanically very familiar, which I think is a benefit to this game. It doesn't really need to be doing anything different to be like really appealing because it's comfortable, it's cozy, and it engages the brain in all the right ways.
Cool. Yeah, I was on the fence about it. It like the gameplay didn't strike me reading about it, but hearing you talk about it makes me bump it back up to interested. So I might have to check that one out.
Yeah, you gotta at least try it, right?
Yeah.
It's like a 20-minute game.
Oh, okay. That's pretty quick.
Yeah. Cool. Harrison, I convinced you to talk about Gen Con a little bit. So I mean, I got a list here. It's not gonna be the same after Gen Con when I only buy like half of these games, but my hit list here is like it's 15 deep right now.
Oh,
And
geez. Okay.
I'm not gonna go through all of them, but I just want to highlight a couple of titles I'm excited to go chasing after when I get there. I'm not sure that they're all even available for sale yet, but have you got a list too?
Yeah, I narrowed it down to 8 must-haves, and conveniently, they're all $20 or under.
Oh wow.
Um,
Good
so oh,
job.
no, there's one $30 game in there. My interested list is much longer, and so we'll
Yeah.
see how many of those actually hemorrhage onto that list.
We've kinda done this before in episode number something something, way back in wintertime. The list has changed a lot since then, so I just wanted to highlight a couple of those changes. But just kinda thinking back, we talked about what did we do? Our, like, top 3 or top 5 Gen Con picks or something. I don't know what it was, but, do you remember covering that?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I have a
Yeah.
top like game from Gen Con last year that I think you told me about. I got so excited about, and I never got a copy of it because the very few copies that they had were taken by someone who said they listened to our podcast and heard about it. So,
Oh,
uh,
no. Okay,
that-
shoot. So we'll make sure that this releases after Thursday, so you can have a chance to get them first.
right, right, yeah. What was that game? The one that you invent a language with? That was the
Oh,
one.
Gibberers? Really?
Yeah, gibberish. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
One of
I'm
my
still
friends came
chasing
up to
that
me.
one.
Uh huh.
Oh, man. Who's okay, speaking of Gibberers, we got another chance this year. Is that company gonna be there?
I don't know,
Gibberers.
I haven't seen it on the main list, but
Gibberers. It's a hard word to spell. Okay, they are from, Hobby Japan. Yeah, Gibberers. You gotta listen to that episode about Gibberers because we went into depth on it, and I don't remember specifically what was happening, but that game was really, really unique and really bizarre. Basically inventing a language, right?
yeah, it was like you would have to define, one word, like, you would have to give a definition to a word, and then you make up that word, and then you use your fake language to answer other prompts in, like, party style games that would
Mm,
then also have you adding new words and languages to it, so it was like a conlang game, um, and, yeah, it just sounded super cool.
yeah.
So I'll have to see if I can track it down a copy. I forgot about that. Huh.
Yeah, still not
Uh,
readily available in America, so that's kinda like the time to look for it is Gen Con.
yeah, if they have any. All
Yeah.
right, Corey. Well, you made me go first for what you've been playing recently, so why don't you hit us first with a Gen Con preview item?
Okay, well, speaking of Japan, because Jippers is a Japanese game, this game is a Japanese theme, and I don't know if I'm saying this word correctly, but Jisogi, do you know this?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Jisogi? Yeah,
Hmm.
anime studio Tycoon. I'm not really an anime person, but the theming of this and the art and the graphic design is just so cool to me that I can't ignore it. I'm a sucker for cards that are like art pieces, and every one of these cards is like 90% a graphic. It's like the anime cover basically.
Hmm.
Um, but Jisogi is a worker placement board game, and it says the theme is anime, more specifically the hardworking folks and the crushing business behind it. You can kind of get a vibe for what you're trying to do here. I'm just going to read this off the page. In this tycoon style game, players use staff members, which are cards placed in front of their personal studio board, to select more. To select from a range of available actions. Their objective is to release an original anime composed of three script parts, a setting, a plot, and a twist. And whenever released, players will gain resources and points according to their popularity, determined by the technical level of the anime and how many genre matches they have to rotating trend cards. It's cool, right? It's very like
Oh, yeah.
procedural it sounds and
Yeah.
um I mean, like I said, the graphic design is killing it. So if you have any interest in anime, that's enough of a reason to check it out. Then it says nothing about the gameplay, but that also looks fantastic.
Yeah, this one is on my interested list. Like, I'm definitely interested in taking this one. It looks gorgeous. So I you'll have to let me know how it is, or I'll let you know how it is if I end up picking it up.
Yeah, right. I'm always interested when these games are like releasing, they have a rating, and sometimes people are rating them before they even have them, and I just don't get it. So it just goes to show that you can't spend too much time worrying about that, especially with new releases. Although I do think some of these people, oh, played on beta on Tabletop Simulator. Okay, 7.6 though, good rating.
Yeah,
Anyways, what do you got?
pretty good. So the one I'm like most excited about, and this is one that I talked on the Board Game Radio podcast too. So I apologize for fans that fall into that Venn diagram of listeners. But I didn't talk to you about it, and this podcast is just you and me talking with no one else listening. Uh,
Oh,
uh, yeah, there's listeners. Uh, this is a trick taking game called Daytime Minutes.
uh-huh.
So this is themed around the old cell phone minutes plans. So you are playing tricks, and the winner of the trick, when you don't want to win tricks, you take one of the cards and you put it in your score pile, and each card has a minute value on it. And if your minutes of your calls ever add up to the plan's threshold or exceed the plan's threshold, you bust and you lose a life, which is represented by these like cool little SIM card pieces. Uh, when somebody busts, the hand instantly ends, and then the player who spent the fewest minutes, who basically won the fewest tricks or won the fewest minutes, also loses a life. So there's this like push and pull of trying to use your minutes. You want to win tricks, but you don't want to win too many, so that you can be like right in the middle of the pack. And the theme and the presentation for this game looks excellent. Like the box looks like an old Nokia box phone box. It's got like a big barcode on the front of it. Like it looks like you're finding it in a discount bin at a Circuit City or something. Um, so I'm excited to try this out. You play rounds that go morning, the next round is afternoon, and then every third round is an evening. And evening is free nights or free nights and weekends. So you can like win a trick uh, during that and get rid of like your really high minutes cards because you can talk for free in the evenings. uh, it just is. It's got a weird theme, a unique take on trick taking, and it's like $16. It's pretty cheap. Uh, the downside, and this is something that I didn't say on the Board Game Radio podcast because I didn't realize this. This game is only going to be for sale at the Game Market Indianapolis at the JW Marriott third floor on Saturday at 7 p.m.
Oh my
So you will
god.
not be able to find it on the show floor. You have to go to a specific event in the JW to be able to buy this. Um, and looking at that now, that's the same time as my team dinner. So I don't actually think I'm going to be able to get a copy of this. And I'm
Oh,
sad.
no.
Uh, so we'll talk afterwards. I may send you on a mission if you are
Yeah, let me see,
if you're
'cause
willing and able.
I'd wanna pick one of these up too. The graphic design is hilarious. It's like clip
Yeah.
art from, like, Microsoft Word, and then there's, like, the cliche, like, they're, like, French doodle art that you see on, coffee mugs and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, very crazy, and, man, all I can think of when I look at this game is do 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 the
Yep.
Nokia ringtone.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm super excited for this.
And one more time, that's called Daytime Minutes
By
from Odd
publisher,
Candy.
yeah, Odd Candy, and what was the designer Cardinal Babakitis.
Hmm. Okay, so my next one is Layers, and I've come across Layers in the last week or so, and like the next day after I discovered it, I went to my local game store and I saw two people playing it, and it looks even cooler in real life. Lairs is a two-player game, and it is themed around like Dungeons and Dragons. Like you're the dungeon master, you're building the dungeon and trying to send the players through it. But the idea is you're kind of pitted against each other. Both of you are dungeon masters for each other, and you're building a three-dimensional dungeon maze on the other side of a screen, so it's not visible to the other player, and you're using deduction to try to walk through the other person's maze and presumably get to the end or get to the treasure. I don't know what the actual goal is thematically, but it says it plays in about 35 minutes, and players begin. They have a set of walls and traps, and there are these little wooden bits that you put into this dual layer grid board where they kind of slot in real nice. Board gamers love that, right? And you're actually crafting this maze. You've got these cool meeples that you move around it. The traps are little wooden pieces that you, or wooden, sorry, cardboard pieces that you drop inside of it. And you're just trying to send them through the ringer, I guess. It looks really fun.
Yeah, I also have this one on my list,
Oh, good.
because it just like I I see a two-player only game and I kind of immediately get turned off, but the artwork, it's the guys at KTBG, Burnt Island, and I most of their stuff I really like, and there's been a lot of buzz about this one. This
Mm,
just looks like a really cool execution.
yeah, it's really fun. Cool idea. I really love deduction games. And this is kind of a neat way to make it like a symmetrical take on Dungeons and Dragons, which is inherently asymmetrical. I assume that I'm interpreting that right. Is that how you understand that? It's kind of like pitted
Uh,
against each other, right?
yeah, yeah, you each have your own. It's, reminded me of, like, uh, two-player, Arapa Mine
Yeah, yeah,
to
exactly.
describe it or reference something more obscure.
Yeah. At the very least, it just looks like it'd be fun to play with these bits. So, gotta try it. So that is Layers from KTBG and Burnt Island Games.
As long as we're name dropping Arapa Mine, there is a new version of that
Oh,
going to be
really?
at Gen Con called Arapa Space. It's basically the same game with like different shapes, and you're doing it in outer space instead. So if you had heard about me rant and rave about that last year on the podcast, there's going to be a version that you don't have to import. Well, maybe you don't have to import. It's from Plate, the Korean publisher. Um,
Nice.
so they will be at Gen Con. It says booth 155. So they will be there.
Wait, I don't see anything about Burnt Island Games on here. Are we crediting them incorrectly? KTBG is Kids Table Board Gaming. I don't think.
Yes, KTPG is Kids Table Board Game, and Burnt Island is their like adult line imprint. It's the
Oh,
same
I
same
understand.
company.
Okay,
Yeah,
so this
yeah,
is more like a family level. It says ages 10 plus.
yeah. KTPG is like more of the family stuff. And then
Got
last
it.
year, I learned this last year when I got How to Save a World from
Hmm.
them and Burnt Island. So it's the same group.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, cool. What you got?
Well, one that I'm not sure if I'm going to pick up, but I know I briefly mentioned it to you at Protospiel, so I want to call it out here to get other people excited because it is also a Hobby Japan game like Gibberers, and this is Strange Slot Simulator.
Mm.
This is a competitive deduction game about being caught in a cursed casino trying to uncover the secrets of the six haunted slot machines that are in there, the six cursed slot machines. It's a real time deduction game. So the setup for the game is kind of wild. You have these decks of cards with different slot icons on them, like cherries and bells and stars or whatever, melons, and you have to build these decks according to a scenario. Then you shuffle them up and you put them in the middle of the table. Everyone closes their eyes, and going around the table one at a time, someone opens their eyes, moves the decks around, and then closes their eyes. The next person does it, and you can effectively like randomize which of the decks there are. Then you each get like this big sheet and a shield, and then you pick a deck, set a timer, and you just do three-card draws off of that deck and mark your results on your sheet and then shuffle it up and do three-card draws. And you're trying to determine which of the slot machines uh, is which of like of the six that you've set up. You're trying to figure out which is which based on the results and the probabilities that you've gotten in your polls. It's like a just a wild, bizarre concept that I just want to play once. I don't know if I'll be any good at it. I don't know that it'll necessarily be fun, but it's weird and it's cool and it could be the greatest thing I've ever played, or it could be an absolute chore. I'm not sure. It just sounds wild, and I want to see this weird experimental stuff be done more.
That's amazing, and this is on my list now. Thank you.
Put it on the list.
Yeah, that concept is so fun to me, and I'm looking at the little shields. It's got like some probability charts and stuff on it,
Yep.
and that's so fun. What a cool idea.
Yeah, it's gonna have to find, like, a very specific audience, but, as much as the more the board game industry grows, the more opportunities we get to have for more stuff like this.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's my shout out for, Strange Slot Simulator, published by Hobby Japan.
All right. I just have one more to shout out for right now, and that is what is it called? Oh, here. Okay. The Lost Ruins of Arnak Surprise Shipment. Yeah, okay, this one's kind of like low-hanging fruit because obviously I want the next Lost Ruins of Arnak expansion that's coming out. I saw this, I was feeling a little betrayed because I just bought the big like $80 adventure chest thing that they had last year, and they said, "Oh, there are no more expansions, so don't worry, we don't have to like try to squeeze more stuff in there." But it does say in the video that everything fits into the adventure chest, so I don't have to.
Oh,
I'll
there you
put my
go.
pitchfork away. Um, but I don't think that there's too much to this. And in fact, I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, it's just cards and it's some more like site tiles. And they've done so many variations on get this resource or convert this resource. I think they're almost like kind of hitting the bottom of that well, to be honest with you. But because it exists and I have everything else, I gotta have it. I gotta include it. So I love Lost Ruins of Arnak. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and it's just it continues to be impressive with the art. The gameplay is just fun and rewarding and engaging, and there's just like I don't know. It's just it's easy on the brain. Like it's a heavy game without feeling like too intense and too thinky. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I saw this one today. I didn't realize that there was more coming out for it, but it's got a picture of, like, a little cat and a dog with
Mhm.
yeah. I I knew that you were gonna have something from CG on this list, but I
Yeah.
didn't think it was gonna be this. I thought you were gonna call out Drillers.
Oh yeah. Yeah, drillers I'm interested in too. I guess while we're on the topic, I'm gonna play test that one. Yeah, that's a deck
Yeah.
builder as well.
Oh, yeah, yep. That should be a cool one.
Mhm. Yeah, cool.
Alright, well, in adamantly analog fashion, I guess I should say one more before we wrap this up, huh?
Yeah, we look at us. We
Ye
just like basically did our normal format on accident.
How dare we? That's so terrible. Ugh. Gone for months on end, then we just come back and do the same old shtick. Uh,
Mhm.
but the last one I wanted to talk about that I'm excited about, Corey, you like legacy games?
I do. Yeah.
Do you like having to get people together to play them regularly?
No.
Oh, okay, well,
Is that
great
what I'm
because I
supposed to
got a
say?
yeah, I got a solo legacy game here. Um, Solo
Oh,
only. This is Enchanted Ivy, from publisher Allplay and, looks like unpublished designer, new designer Sarah Joshua. This is a cozy, like, cottage inn management game, sort of,
okay.
that plays out like a little puzzle. So each game, you're going to be setting up a scenario with different guests who have different requirements, and then building out your magical inn to accommodate them. And that is done by each round. You've got two cards, one of which you can play face up with a window on it, and one face down to represent a wall. And when you place a window, you have to put a guest in it, and and then you're trying to just maximize the scoring of these different guests. So like the first scenario I watched a playthrough of it. There's like a monk character who wants to be super far away from other guests. There's a bard who wants to be close to other guests. There's a crow wizard or someone who wants to be like at the very top of the building. All these like various different competing scoring goals. And then the whole thing is wrapped up in like a cozy story, trying to figure out like why you have this cottage, who left it to you, I just from like some of the previews or the preview images, it looks like there's a sticker element to it, so it is a true legacy game. Um, it it just looks super gorgeous. Nice little legacy game, solo puzzle. I $20. I'm on board. It'll probably end up being 30 because all plays always got a little promo pack to add on to it. But I'm looking forward to it.
Nice, that's cool. I like that idea, and it looks really like you look at the pictures and you're immediately trying to figure out what the puzzle is. The ivy is kind of taking different patterns across the card, and you're
Hmm.
clearly trying to puzzle the way that they connect to one another, sort of like Carcassonne style.
Yep, yep. That is an element. Yep.
Nice. There's also a new Hercules and the 12 Labors coming out. Have you seen that?
Jason and the Argonauts. Yes, I've backed it.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, okay. So you're already on that one. You don't have to add that to your
Oh yeah.
list here because it's coming to your house.
Yep, yep. I
Good.
I played the. I have the original. I even got like the super pledge for the new version because they have like dice trays and special dice and everything. And I was like, yes, Matthew Ryan, I will give you all of my money because that is a gorgeous game. Talking about like art piece cards that you like, full art piece cards,
Yeah. It
gorgeous
is.
production, and all the people involved in the project. I'm a fan of, so I want to support those guys.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I there aren't very many solo only games that I really enjoy, especially when dice are involved. It just kind of gets it kind of gets redundant, and tedious in ways that are a little too luck based for my liking sometimes. But I haven't played that one, and I'm intrigued to try it, especially because people have described it as a roguelike, which that idea is cool to me, where you're just kind of pushing further and further through the game each time you try.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah, you can definitely get some bad rolls where you're just like, "Well, I guess if I don't roll a 6 right now, I lose." That will
Yeah.
happen a lot. Yeah, it's very difficult. I have not beaten it.
Okay, I feel that way with like Final Girl. Like I like Final Girl, but that game is really punishing if the rolls don't go your way.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, you know what we should really do is recap our three picks since
Oh,
that's what we did.
we probably should. Time to remember what they were.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I remember mine. It was Jisogi Anime Studio Tycoon. That's from Esper Game Studio. I don't think I mentioned that, but I want to call them out.
Okay.
And then my second one was what was my second one? Shoot. Oh, Lairs KTGB. Kids Table Board Gaming. KTBG. Kids Table Board Gaming. Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then Lost Ruins of Arnak. The surprise something. Oh God. The surprise delivery or shipment or something. The new expansion that surprised everyone last week.
It doesn't matter what it is. It's more Arnak. Everyone's getting it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, I love CGE.
Yeah. Yeah, my 3 were, Daytime Minutes by publisher Odd Candy, Strange Slot Machine by from Hobby Japan, and Enchanted Ivy from All Play.
Nice. All right, Harrison. It's fun catching up with you.
Yeah, we'll have to do this again in 5 months.
Yep.
I know we're running kinda long here, but, I mean, while we're here, do you wanna talk about some non-board game thing that you've been enjoying, or do we wanna just skip that?
Oh man, I've been playing frisbee again, ultimate frisbee, and I don't feel as old as I thought I would at this point in time. I'm doing okay.
Oh, there you
So
go. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
good.
great.
Yeah,
That's great news. Good for you.
stay active, people. It's good for you. I don't have any. I don't deserve to be in good shape because I don't do anything for that part of my health. but but for some reason, I can just run. I'm motivated to run when I'm playing sports. So I think that's a good way to keep myself active over the summer when it's hot out. How about you?
Sure, sure, I guess if you want. Well, you know me, I've got like an addiction to like small indie roguelite or auto battler type games.
Oh yeah.
So there's this one that I discovered last month called Batomon Showdown.
Okay.
So it's Batomon.
Hmm.
Like battle monsters in the same way that Pokemon is like pocket monsters. So Batomon Showdown is a auto battling game, asynchronous, so you can like play on your own time and own pace, but then you're fighting other players' ghosts, uh, and it's basically Pokemon themed. It's like these little monsters, and then they each have their own little signature attacks and types and different things. It it's just gorgeous to look at. They use like wonderful sprite art that looks like it's straight out of a Pokemon game, but it's not. And type matchups that you're not getting like strengths and weaknesses like in the Pokemon games, but each typing has like its own themes and sub themes and builds that you can do. So like there's poison builds and burn builds and rock builds which are good at shielding and flying builds which are good at like multi hits and stuff. So uh, it's it's a lot of fun. It's super cool. It's I think like a one person dev team, and there's a free demo that I've sunk like probably close to 100 hours and maybe more.
Oh, really?
Uh, yeah. So
Wow.
we'll see if we can throw a link in the description so that you and other folks can check it out. It's super cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hit master rank very quickly, and I'm just like banging my head against all the people who have been playing this for 200 hours plus, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Yeah, this looks an awful lot like Game Boy Advance Pokemon games. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
it's excellent. Yeah.
Nice. Well, cool. I hope you kept everyone company on their drive to Indianapolis. And if you're not going, I hope you got to live vicariously through the hype, the Gen Con hype a little bit. Harrison, I think it only is fitting for us to follow up after Gen Con, right? Like we got to do that.
Yeah, probably. Like, I think we probably won't follow up, in a week because we'll be
Yeah,
beat to heck and super tired. But you haven't heard the last of us. We'll adamantly be back at some point in the near future.
adamantly. All right. Cool. Well, thanks for listening and goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
You don't say drink water anymore. Adamantly Analog is Corey Murphy and Harrison Dunn. Original themes and bumper music by Corey Murphy. Reach us at adamantlyanalog@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.